Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Operations Committee for Monday, September 9th to order. As we gather here today, I would like to, or we acknowledge on behalf of the County of Renfrew and our community that we're meeting on the traditional territory of the Omama-Winini Algonquin people. We thank the Omama-Winini people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of Indigenous people who have taken care of these lands for thousands of years. Has roll call been taken?
Yes, thank you, Chair, and we have quorum.
Thank you, Evelyn. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof on any of the matters before us this afternoon? Seeing none, we'll move on to the adoption of the open minutes from August 13th, which are included in our package today. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, can I get a mover for the adoption of the minutes? Moved by the member from Greater Madawaska Valley, sorry, and seconded by the member from Empire. All those in favor? And that is carried. Item number 6, the adoption of the closed meeting minutes of August 13th. Can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by the member from Laurentian Valley, seconded by the member from Renfrew, Ward Neiman. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Then we'll move on to, so there's no delegations listed. Public Works and Engineering Department report, the director's report, and I will call on Mr. Henrath today.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Good afternoon, everyone. Item number 1 is the monthly project status report, which is attached for committee's reference. Item number 2 is the capital program variance report, which is also attached as for committee's reference as well. And I'll pause there to see if there's any questions about the information items.
Okay, so we'll move on to the, where am I? I don't know. Yes, well, is there any questions on the items? Seeing none, we will continue on.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Item number 3 is a resolution. County Road 2, White Lake Road, 4-way stop flashing lights. And the recommendation is that the Operations Committee recommends that staff proceed with the purchase and installation of flashing beacon lights for the stop signs at the intersection of County Road 2, White Lake Road, County Road 52, Burnstown Road, Point Road, and Bellamy Road in the hamlet of White Lake in the Township of McNabb-Braeside, and that the costs be shared 50-50 with the Township of McNabb-Braeside.
Okay, can I get a mover and seconder for the recommendation? Moved by the member from Empire, seconded by the member from Laurentian Valley. And the details, please.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. We've received a request under County Policy PW17, Enhanced Traffic Warning Devices, from the Township of McNabb-Braeside to include these flashing beacons at the 4-way stop intersection. They've expressed concerns that some drivers are missing the stop signs and rolling through the intersection, so they've asked that this be enacted as a measure to increase awareness of the intersection.
Thank you for that. Any questions, comments? And the cost-sharing agreement falls within our policy? Okay. Member from Laurentian Valley.
Just curious, once it's installed, the hydro for the flashing light, is that borne by the municipality or by the county?
Mr. Henrath.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the councillor from Township of Laurentian Valley. These are solar beacons, so no hydro allocations would require replacement in 5 to 7 years.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, it brings up 2 questions. One is so the replacement in 5 to 7 years, is that cost shared also? Mr. Henrath?
Through you, Chair, I would have to double check our policy statement on that. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. And back to the member's question, if it wasn't solar and they were connected to hydro, who would be paying for it?
Through you, Chair, we haven't run into that issue yet.
Okay.
Most of the beacons and the advanced warning systems are now primarily solar. I would have to look into that one as well.
Yeah, no, not a big deal. So, okay. Anything else on that? We'll move on to item number 4. Oh, sorry. Nothing further. All those in favor? And that is carried. Number 4.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Item number 4 is Municipal Housing Infrastructure Program. And recommendation number 1 for this item is that the Operations Committee direct staff to proceed with submitting an application for funding under the $400 million Housing Enabling Core Servicing Stream for the reconstruction of County Road 51, Petawawa Boulevard, County Road 26, Doran Road, Hilda Street, and Mons Avenue in the town of Petawawa. Or recommendation 2 is that the Operations Committee direct staff to submit an application for funding under the $400 million Housing Enabling Core Servicing Stream for intersection improvements at the intersection of County Road 10, Division Street South, and Baskin Drive West in the town of Renfrew.
Okay, I can't ask the question right at the moment, so...
I would suggest doing the background, is what I would suggest. Maybe do the background, and then
sure.
come back to that, maybe.
Okay, let's hear the background before we move on.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. So this funding opportunity through the province of Ontario has arisen, and only one project can be applied for to gain grant funding under the opportunity. So we've identified 2 projects that have potential, one being the Doran at County Road 51 roundabout, which, as committee may recall, we just finished a full environmental assessment and addendum in order to have a Class A construction-ready design for last year. And another that we've identified is the potential for a roundabout at the intersection of County Road 10, Division Street, and Baskin Drive West at Duncan Street. Both of these projects facilitate development in a certain way. The Doran roundabout is the most shovel-ready, whereas the County Road 10 option is the most impactful to future developments. However, given the stream has to incorporate housing, both could potentially be an option. We just feel more prepared under the County Road 2651 roundabout application, but wanted to present both for consideration. That covers.
Okay, thank you for that. So I probably should start with committee, but I'll start. So 2 questions. One is, how do we specifically link County Road 51 with housing? And secondly, could Armprior apply for the Division Street Baskin Drive project?
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee, I'll address the first question. So the County Road 51 Doran Road intersection is already considered at capacity due to development that's occurred already. In order to link it with further development, there is a number of developments on Doran Road that are still to proceed, which this would facilitate traffic flows developed from those developments as well.
Thank you. And the second one might go to...
Oh, gosh, I'm just trying to pull up the program parameters, Chair, while we're speaking. I would hazard a guess and say no. They don't own the assets. I think what they're looking for, though, is partnerships, and we're actually presenting to the town of Petawawa tonight in terms of getting their buy-in. Well, I'm not presenting anything. Mr. Hanrath's going to be presenting tonight, but we'll be in front of the town of Petawawa tonight, presenting this as an option for their consideration or a motion of support. I don't think it would be reverse, because it's the money is going to flow through us. I can't believe a scenario where that would be possible, quite honestly.
Okay, thanks. And I didn't want to tie Armprior's hands because they may have a project anyway. So, okay, committee members, questions? Member from Armprior.
Thank you, Chair. I guess I have 2 concerns. One is, as you already previously mentioned, Chair, there's no new housing on Doran Street, whereas on Baskin, there is being built, as we speak today, the new subdivision with the 2 apartment buildings and the opportunity on the Campbell Brook that they just finished doing the Indigenous check. So I'm assuming that's going to be coming forth. So as a means of development forthcoming, yes to Arnprior. But we're shovel-ready on Doran for the roundabout.
So the issue there is that those developments are underway. So I think one of the focuses on this core enabling services is that it's going to expand development. So that's part of it, Mr. Hanrath.
Yes, I can touch on it a little further. So there is still development planned on Doran Street, not to the same extent that Town of Arnprior is seeing on County Road 10. So from a development standpoint, you're right that this program is developed for things like that, but part of the program is to provide a completed EA and things like that, which we don't have for the County Road 10 section, and would have to develop as part of this grant opportunity.
Is there any type of estimate on what the roundabout would cost for County Road 10?
Not at this time. It would only be conceptual.
Would it be similar to the Petawawa one?
I would imagine in comparison it would be slightly less. It doesn't have the same number of roads coming into it, nor the same amount of traffic going through it as well.
Okay. Anything further? I'm going to need some kind of a recommendation on the options. Member from Arnprior.
Just a supplemental, in 2012, there was a transportation study where that traffic circle was identified. So it's not like it's something new.
Was there any cost estimates along with that?
No, it's just a traffic study that they did.
Okay, Mr. Hanrath.
Thank you, Chair. Further to the Council of Town of Arnprior, so it was the town's transportation master plan that had identified that intersection as either viewing a four-way stop or future signalization, which is what flagged us, because if it meets warrants for signalization, then it could meet warrants for a roundabout, which was what tagged the project overall. And with further developments occurring, we're evaluating that intersection as well.
Okay, so we're sitting here with a unique opportunity to pick A or B. I need a suggestion from committee to start with. Member from Arnprior.
Option 1, Chair.
Okay. Comments? Ward Nemo.
I was seconding.
Oh, okay.
And I'll comment that I agree with the recommendation, given that it is, we have a Class A estimate for that. At this time, we don't have one for option 2, which is always concerning. And then they both have some housing connections, and it's important to service the new builds that are coming in. So I think option 1 at this point is preferable. Thank you.
Okay, I do know we've been certainly talking about that whole, County Road 51 in a number of iterations. But do I not recall a senior member of staff from Petawawa saying that they didn't want a roundabout at this location? And I haven't heard anything from that since, so, but...
They are,
Mr.
again,
Kelly.
Chair, to you, they are open to hearing us today, and I believe that prior authorization was not given.
Okay, fair enough. That was kind of a shock to me at the time, too, so. Okay, we have a motion to, that we adopt recommendation number 1. That would be the option 1, County Road 51. Anything further? And all those in favor? And that is carried. And now I'm pretty sure I lost my place again. Where are we at? Is there any? Yeah. Okay, so we will move on to the Capital Works report. Mr. Hanrath.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Item number 1 is the lease and purchase of MVCA KNP recreational trail section. The County of Lanark is continuing negotiation for lease and eventual purchase of sections of the KNP recreational trail owned by the Mississippi Valley Conservation Authority, MVCA. Included for reference and input is a copy of the draft lease agreement and the draft purchase agreement. As committee may recall, on April 6, 2023, the KMP Recreational Management Advisory Committee was advised that the section of corridor to be acquired in partnership with the counties of Lanark and Frontenac is approximately 35.2 kilometers long, with 6.7 kilometers located in the county of Renfrew. At that time, it was estimated that a significant amount of legal survey and legal services would be required to facilitate a purchase at an estimated cost of approximately $350,000 in total, with the county of Renfrew being responsible for approximately $67,000 or 19%. The approval in principle was given through KMP Recreational Management Advisory Committee, Development of Property Committee, and County Council for the county of Renfrew to contribute to the acquisition of the 35.2 kilometers of trail from MVCA in partnership with Lanark County and Frontenac County. 2 agreements have been drafted to facilitate the purchase and transfer of the trail properties. One is a lease agreement for lease of the property until purchase can be completed, and the other is a purchase agreement to finalize the purchase of the property once title is free and clear. The cost of the lease would be $10 per year, split between the county of Renfrew and the county of Lanark. The cost of the property is the nominal fee for transfer of $1. However, as described above, the 3 counties would be responsible for legal and survey costs. No new cost estimates have been provided for legal and survey fees at this time. Item number 2 is update on transfer of remaining CP lands. Further progression has been made to continue the transfer of properties from Canada Pacific Rail to the county of Renfrew. The province of Ontario has approved the process to survey the northern section of the properties on the Algonquin Trail with the use of compiled plans, which is a desktop exercise. Adam Kasperzak Surveying Limited will provide a test of compiled plans for the province to review and accept before continuing with the remaining section. Item number 3 is the Ontario Federation of Trail Riders Lease Agreement. We've received a request for the Recreational Trails Advisory Committee has directed staff to proceed with the negotiation of a lease agreement with the Ontario Federation of Trail Riders, OFTR, for their permit holding members to use the county's recreational trails. The OFTR has reached out expressing interest in entering into a lease agreement to allow permit holding members of their local clubs to ride on the county's recreational trails. It would be a similar lease agreement to what we currently have with the RCA TV. Item number 4 is County Road 51, Petawawa Boulevard Traffic Study. The town of Petawawa has submitted a request to the County of Renfrew Public Works and Engineering Department to conduct a traffic study on a portion of Petawawa Boulevard, County Road 51. The requested section extends from Golf Course Road to Silky Drive within the town of Petawawa limits and has been identified by the town of Petawawa Council as an area of concern with regards to roadway safety. The request, which is supported by Resolution Number 9 of the Town Council meeting conducted on July 22, 2024, is attached. County staff have completed the traffic study and review of the existing roadway conditions in order to assess the identified concerns. Although there has not been a request to reduce the speed limit of Petawawa Boulevard at this time, the Transportation Association of Canada, or TAC, guidelines for assessing the posted speed limit provide a good layout for conducting a safety audit such as this. The items considered when reviewing the posted speed limit include geometry, average lane width, roadside hazards, pedestrian exposure, cycling exposure, pavement surface, and the number of intersecting roadways and entrances. A breakdown of the traffic study is provided. The results of the options for improvement: the Petawawa Boulevard has a mix of commercial businesses, residential properties, subdivision access, and community services such as the Town of Petawawa Fire Department, OPP Detachment, and Pine View Public School. The main area of concern appears to be within the school zone, and as such, there could be several options that could enhance the safety of the roadway in order to prevent potential collisions, such as dedication of a community safety zone in the area of Pine View Public School, reduced speed limit within the school zone during school days, installation of flashing beacons, and additional signage. However, the location of the school within this 6-kilometer section of Petawawa Boulevard does pose additional challenges, as it is located nearly in the center at 3 kilometers north of Golf Course Road. A reduction in daytime posted speed limits or permanent posted speed would create a very short reduction zone where vehicles would be required to slow down and would likely immediately speed up to their initial speed. Given the nature of the roadway and the number of permitted turning movements, staff would likely be in favor of a reduction in speed limit to 70 kilometers per hour if the town of Petawawa so desired. The traffic study conducted for Petawawa Boulevard, County Road 51 between Golf Course Road and Silky Drive will be submitted to the town of Petawawa as requested. And that's the end of the information items, Chair.
Yeah, but, sorry, isn't item 5 an information item also?
Yes, sorry, I can do item number 5. So
Sure.
So item number 5 is delegated authority approvals, and it is for the award of PWC 2024-44 under delegated authority through bylaw 9824. And this is for the base aggregate supply and delivery on Algonquin Trail to Do All Construction and Bonisher Excavating for the total amount of $333,440 plus applicable taxes. And the memo is included for reference.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll go back to item number 1. Item number 2. Item number 3. I'm happy to see that staff was given a crystal ball and knew what the Trails Committee was going to do earlier today. Item number 4, the traffic study in Petawawa. And item 5, the information around the use of the delegated authority. Warden Emo.
Item 4.
I'm at item 5 now. No, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Thank you. Item 4, would that be an area where the town of Petawawa could consider the speed cameras that we talked about at the last council meeting? Because it's a safety zone.
Well, if there was a community safety zone or a school zone, yes. Anything further on 4 or 5? Seeing none, we'll move on to bylaws.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Item number 6 is PWC 2024-53, engineering services for the replacement of B053 Constant Creek Bridge. And the recommendation is that the Operations Committee recommend that County Council approve contract PWC 2024-53 as submitted by PlanMac Engineering Incorporated, Mississauga, Ontario, for engineering services for the reconstruction of county structure B053 Constant Creek Bridge, located on Ferguson Lake Road, approximately 5.3 kilometers north of County Road 508, Calabogie Road, in the Township of Greater Madawaska, in the amount of $196,831 plus applicable taxes, and that County Council adopt a bylaw to execute the professional services agreement and purchase order for the contract.
Can I get a mover and seconder for the recommendation? Moved by the member from Madawaska Valley, seconded by the member from Laurentian Valley. Mr. Hanrath.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I'll attempt to summarize the background that's given here. So back in 2012, a Schedule C municipal class environmental assessment was completed for this bridge. The environmental study report at the time identified this alternative as a long-term solution for the bridge, but in the short term also recommended that the superstructure of the existing bridge be replaced. That did proceed in 2011 before the full report was actually completed, just because the bridge at the time was in such poor condition. The bridge has continued to be inspected biannually and more recently annually as the deterioration started to progress, and it's now come time to review the replacement alternative that was recommended through the EA that was done back then. Because it's been more than 10 years since the initial EA, there are additional studies that are needed in order to bring the environmental study report from that EA into compliance with current municipal class environmental assessment requirements, hence the higher price tag for this design, because this is a full realignment of the road at this location, and the bridge would be expanded to be a 2-lane bridge as well. So we're expanding the capacity and changing the road alignment, which requires some further environmental studies due to the impacts. If there's any questions, though, I can answer them.
Questions? So was the structure that was put in place in whatever that was, 2011, 2012, was that designed for a 2-lane bridge?
So the structure that was put in back then is just a single-lane bridge that was placed on the existing abutments. The new bridge will be constructed either downstream or upstream of the existing.
Okay.
So we won't need to close the road, luckily. We'll be able to construct with the road open and then open it onto the new structure once it's completed.
Okay. Anything further? Ward Nemo.
Yes, good. Thank you, and thank you. I'm glad to see this because I was somewhat disappointed in 2011 when it reverted back to a single lane on these existing alignment because it's a tricky little piece of roadway. So it makes sense to go to a 2-lane bridge. Thank you.
Okay. I know I've traveled over there, but I'm trying to think of which one it is. But anything further? Seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor? And that is carried. And we'll move on to item number 7.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Item number 7 is the CN Trail Memorandum of Understanding with Whitewater Region and Laurentian Valley. The recommendation is that the Operations Committee recommends that County Council adopt a bylaw to enter into a Memorandum of Understanding between the County of Renfrew and the Townships of Laurentian Valley and Whitewater Region for the sale of certain properties formerly known as by CN Rail.
Can I get a mover and seconder for the recommendation? Moved by the member from Armpire, seconded by the member from Madawaska Valley.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. So the draft Memorandum of Understanding is included in your committee package. There are some requested draft changes from the townships. We are still receiving some as of noon today. So the actual finalized Memorandum of Understanding will be presented at County Council. To give an indication of some of the requested revisions, there are some wording changes with the environmental liability, which the townships are assuming all existing liability through the Memorandum of Understanding as it stands. And there's been a request that the county assume an annual cost of $20,000 per year versus the $10,000 that's identified in the draft copy in your packages.
Thank you for that. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that is carried. Item number 8, please.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Item number 8 is County Road 37, Murphy Road, Road Access Agreement. The recommendation is that the Operations Committee recommends to County Council that a road access agreement between 2833868 Ontario Inc. on County Road 37, Murphy Road, in part of Lot 18, Concession 7 in the geographic township of Petawawa, Town of Petawawa, County of Renfrew, be approved, and that County Council adopt a bylaw to authorize execution of the road access agreement.
Thank you for that. Can I mover and seconder for the recommendation? Moved by the member from Laurentian Valley, seconded by Ward Neiman. And the background, please.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. 2833868 Ontario Inc. is the registered owner of the property adjacent to County Road 37, Murphy Road, in the geographic township of Petawawa, Town of Petawawa. The owners have made application for the severance of 2 new lots fronting onto Murphy Road, which is County Road 37. The creation of the new lots has been granted on the condition that the applicant enters into an agreement with the county regarding access to County Road 37 due to restrictions in entrance spacing and sightline requirements. The new lot, described as part of Lot 18, Concession 7, in the geographic township of Petawawa, shown as Parts 2 and 3 on Draft Survey Plan 49 are, sorry, the number's missing there, but I'll get that updated, along with a map showing the property are located as information for reference of committee. The mutual access is shown as Parts 4 and 5 on the same plan, will serve as the access point for both severed lots. The road access agreement is to be registered and run with the title to the land so that future owners are aware of the road access agreement.
Okay, thank you for that. Comments or questions? Member from Empire.
Thank you, Chair. Taylor, just with the length of Murphy Road, will there be an opportunity for more residents to make this road allowance agreement?
I'll pass it over to.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the councillor from the town of Arnprior. So the issue with these properties is the The property itself could have had an entrance on its own, but with the two severed properties, for an entrance to each, they would have been too close together to fall within our policy. It shouldn't affect the other properties on Murphy Road.
Thank you.
And these are being subdivided for residential lots?
As far as I know.
Okay. Anything further? Seeing none, all those in favor? That is carried. And now I shuffled a whole bunch of sheets. So, okay, so then we will move on to, is there more? Righto, the operational division report. Mr. Hanrath again.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. The Operations Division report, item number 1, is summer operations. Shown here is a summary of the summer operations thus far, including the shouldering program, small culvert program, annual pavement marking, crack sealing program, curb replacement, and hazardous weed control program. Item number 2 is fleet management. On August 27, 2024, 2 tractors and fork attachments were delivered by Huckabones Equipment, Cobden, Ontario, as per contract PWO 2024-04. Staff are scheduled to train on the new equipment before being put into full service in the patrols. All 7 light-duty pickup trucks, including 1 unit for Development and Property Department, Forestry Division, in accordance with contract PWO 2024-01, have been delivered, inspected, and are in service. Item number 3, disposal of surplus items. The Operations Division is proceeding with another cycle of disposals for the current inventory of surplus assets. The list of items will be circulated to the municipalities within the County of Renfrew by mid-September. If no municipal submissions are received, then all surplus items will proceed to public auction. Item number 4, municipal cooperation. The Township of Greater Madawaska requested the use of the county's loader with shoulder spreader attachment for their summer operations. At the time of this report, temporary use is scheduled for 2 weeks in the month of September. And I'll pause there, Chair, to see if there's any questions.
Thank you for that. So we'll go back to item number 1, the summer operations program. I won't go through all of the items there, but if there's anything anybody would wish to comment on, or see none, we'll move to, Warden Eamon.
Thank you. Just the crack sealing program. So it says it's going to be posted before the end of September. Are we expecting to do that this year, or will that be in the spring?
Mr. Hanrath.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the Warden. I believe that is for works to be completed this year.
That was my understanding, because I was talking to Mr. Balduke. Supplemental.
Supplementary. Now, my understanding is when they crack seal, is that when the road has to be redone, then these strips of putty or whatever it is that goes in has to be taken out separately and disposed of. Is that still true, or have they figured out something better?
Mr. Hanrath.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the Warden. It depends on the construction method being used. Some methods it can just be left in place, such as pulverize and pave. It just gets chewed up and left in place. Some others where we're milling for cold in place or something like that, it may have to be removed. But again, it depends on the chemistry at play for that construction method.
Thank you.
Okay, anything further on item number 1? A, B, C, D, E, and F. Item number 2, fleet management. And item number 3, disposal of surplus items. And item number 4, the municipal cooperation with the Township of Greater Madawaska. Seeing none, I will ask for a resolution for adoption of the Operations Division report, right? Yeah. Moved by member from Laurentian Valley, seconded by the member from Arnprior, and all those in favor, and that is carried. Now what do I got to do? I love this. Pardon me? Yeah. Does anybody have any new business for us this afternoon? I was trying to get away from that. Member from Armpire.
Thank you, Chair. We have an email sent out to Evelyn and Taylor to hopefully do a screen sharing. We've been contacted by a resident of McNabb Braeside where River Road has recently been revamped and reconstructed with only the lines left to go. Their entrance onto River Road is, in their words, very steep and unsafe to get onto the road. We went there and looked at the site. We took pictures of it with our truck so you can see the steep incline. What my request is, could we have our county staff go and review it one more time? I know it meets the standards of the county and the provincial today, but with winter coming, and you'll see with the incline, I think we're going to have a safety hazard there. Thank you.
I'm going to pass this over to Mr. Henrith.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to the councillor from the town of Armpire. If Ev could share one of the pictures on the screen. I can give some background on this. So our typical standard whenever we're redoing a road is for entrance culverts, we only replace them where we're changing or changing the drainage pattern. So for this entrance, the culvert was not replaced because we were able to ditch up to the culvert and flow was not impeded by the culvert or changed through the culvert. And if you look here, you can see at the back tire of the truck in question, I'll proceed while that hopefully comes back on the screen. If you can see at the back tire of the truck, this is the entrance in question. The road does appear to have been raised, but this was a pulverized and paved, so what would have happened was the existing road was chewed up, mixed with the gravel that was in place, and then we graded it out, added 50 millimeters of granular A, and then 100 millimeters of asphalt. Had the elevation of the road stayed the way it is right now, and we added that, it would have been 150 mil grade raise over the road, about 6 inches. But because we graded out, it would have been about a 4-inch raise or about 100 millimeters. So typically, where that occurs, we tie the entrance in similar to what you see here, and then we shoulder the road and do further tie-in as well. So the reason it looks like it was raised a great deal is because you have some of the overflow from the shouldering that was done, and then it flows out over the existing granular as well. Again, typically this is what we do for any rural works like this. If you can look further back, one of the concerns that was also raised by the resident was that they had flooding in their property. However, if you look at the left side of the photo, you can see that there's a puddle there. That puddle has been there for years. We've looked back on Google Street View, and it's always been that way. It has not been caused by our construction. There's been very limited grade change because of the construction, and this is typical on most of our projects. So our concern is if we do something at this location, then we will be required to do things at almost every location. There's similar aspects on almost every project that we work on. And if there's any questions, I can answer them as well. And just to clarify, we are in ongoing discussions with the property owners, and I will be going out to site to review the situation as well.
Okay, thank you for that. So considering staff is still working with that, I think we'll leave this as it is for now, if that's all right with the member that brought it up. So other than that, I think we're into a whole different ballgame. But okay, anything else for new business? Item 11, closed meeting. I had no indication that there was one. Date of our next meeting will be Tuesday, October 15th. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by this member from Greater Madawaska, or Madawaska Valley, sorry, and seconded by the, that's the first time I did that today. I almost did it earlier. Seconded by the town of Arnprior. All those in favor? And that is carried.